Hi everyone and welcome to another day here, a slightly cloudier day here at Let's Do Bonsai in Sheffield. Let's go inside and let's do bonsai. Okay, so welcome inside everyone, and here we have in front of me the Portulacaria Afra Forest that we planted, which is in absolutely terrible shape, so we're going to try and rescue this today. But before I start, obviously in these times that we find ourselves in, I just hope that everybody is following the guidelines at home and staying home, you know, protecting your national health services no matter where you are in the world, and subsequently saving lives. The less of us that get ill from this coronavirus at a stretched out length of time, the better it will be for the services that are there to look after us. So please, everybody, you know, stay well and stay safe. So here we are with the Portulacaria Afra Forest, which was sat in one of the tents, and it's parts of it are still growing, and some parts of it have, you know, they've just died. They've either rotted or collapsed or whatever. As the plants above were being watered, it was constantly dripping into this planting. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift out these trees, get them out of the forest planting, and I've got a lot of these bonsai pots. They're the kind of standard bonsai pots that you'd, if you ordered one online, it'd generally come in one of these, you know, varying different sizes, etc. And these are from places that I've been to and collected them, where people have had them online and they've had them for a little while and not been able to keep them alive, which is why I always advocate, when you get them, obviously repot them, because we don't know how long they've been in these pots, and a bit of root work, a bit of repotting could see them survive, because the pots are pretty good for what they need to be. So first of all, let's start breaking up the soil to allow us to try and remove our little trees without damaging the roots too much. So you can see there we have got some roots on that one, and it's just a little, but you know, they are growing and they are relatively okay. What I will do is I will just get a little bowl so that we can put them into some water. So I've got a little bowl here, and I'm just going to sit that in front of us. I've borrowed the water out of one of the watering bottles so that it's not full of chlorine, and then just top that bottle back up again, and by the time we come to do any watering, the chlorine will have evaporated. So we'll just sit this in the water and carry on removing the soil to allow removal of the trees. And they do have some small roots that have been growing, but there's every chance that it just wasn't doing very well in that soil at all. What we do also need to do is we need to just clean the branches up, because they've got little bits of growth of one thing or another happening. So something really wasn't very happy with this planting, and it may stem back to when we had the bits of infestations in the tent. So we've got that one there, which was a cutting, which has developed some roots. So you know, we'll get it potted into something and get it all cleaned up and just have them individually. We've got some rocks here that we can take out and save. They did look nice when they went in. It wasn't a bad planting, this one, but all the moss that was on the top seems to have all rotted away. So, you know, there's something not been right with this planting from what we've done, and some of these just aren't going to survive. But there are some roots going off there that look like they may well do a little bit of something. So we'll give every one of them an opportunity to recover. Let's see if we can lift this middle one out. So that one's been doing quite well. There's plenty of roots coming off it. We're not going to take any of the roots off. We're just going to wash them off and get them planted into some new fresh bonsai soil. And the last one to come is that one, and that really doesn't look very well at all. It actually looks as if it's all rotted from the bottom, so yeah, that one, there's no recovery coming from that one. That's rotting up from the inside, so we'll forget about that one, unfortunately, and we'll get the others apart and clean them up and brush them off. So we'll get ready to do that. So we've got what remains of our trees here, and I've got a bit of soapy water, and I'm just going to try and clean these a little bit. The branches have got some marks on them where they look like they've been suffering, so you can see the white fungusy type growth that's on there, which is coming off like a powder effect as we clean it. But we'll get it all off. And we'll work with it and do the best that we can. There are still some good green bits at the tips, and it's just whether or not it's got enough strength left in it to recover. So we'll just go around all the branches, giving them a good clean. There was quite a bit of foliage on this, but it all just kind of fell off as it was being moved around, so you know, that let us know that it really wasn't happy, but you can tell just by looking at it that it really wasn't happy at all. So that's that one cleaned up. Now work on the next larger one. And all we can do is clean it up as best we can and just hope for the best. Expect the worst and hope for the best. They are normally quite good growers, and you know, they lay roots down quite easily. So hopefully, you know, if we can get it into a happy state, it will start on the path to recovery. And if we've left it too late, then well, we can all know what's gonna go from there. But hopefully we've caught it just in time and it will survive, because it would be a shame for this not to carry on. There are some nice roots on some of them, so there is a good root system on there to provide the tree with feed and life. So depending on what's happened in the vascular system of the trunk and the branches will be dependent on whether or not it can survive. But all we can do is give it its best opportunity, and that will start by cleaning it up. And if it does recover, the recovery, we should see that quite quickly. Just be careful with these leaves, because these leaves are actually quite good, and I'm going to just rinse it off in the soapy water rather than trying to brush it too much, and then we'll clean it off with a spray of fresh water when we've got it potted on. I think that one probably stands the better chance of survival. So we'll move that out of the way. I'll just wash my hands a little bit here, wipe them off. And we'll get one of the bigger pots and start potting up. So we've got some of the pre-made screens here somewhere. Yeah, packets of them. There will be one that's open. This one will do. So we've got a couple of these pre-made screens, and we'll just lay those into the bottom there. And then if we start with our bonsai soil and put a layer of the soil into the bottom of that pot. And we'll go with this one first of all, and I would say that this is the front here, so I will put the front towards your good selves over there, and let's fill it in with soil. So there are some good roots on this tree, so hopefully there's enough good root and goodness left in the vascular system of the tree to allow a healthy progression of the tree. Failing that, we will have to get a new one, you know, but I'd rather carry on with the ones we've got. I'd rather these survive and then start the forest again at another time. It would be a shame to, it's always a shame to lose any tree or plant. It can be rather disappointing to you, you know, why, what went wrong and how and all the rest of it that we torment ourselves with whenever something does go wrong. And sometimes it's just not meant to be. Sometimes the trees just haven't got it in them and they just can't manage to keep going no matter how much care that we put into them. So obviously if you experience, you know, trees going on you, it may well be that those trees or that tree just wasn't meant to be in the first place. So start another one, get another one and carry on. So we'll carry on just working the soil into the root system until it sits in there nice and strong, which it is doing. Just put a bit more soil around the edges. And I think we'll put some of the top dress gravel on just to protect it as best as we can. see how that's going in there. Peter's decided to dig up some plants by the looks of him. We'll have to get him cleaned up. So that's that one planted up. We'll get some water and we'll give it a water through, and then we'll carry on with the next one. So I've got the watering system here with some water with some feed in. So we'll just give it a thorough water through, and hopefully some of this feed will be taken up by the root system, and this larger of the Portulacaria Afras will hopefully start its road to recovery and start, or continue even, its road to being a bonsai. So we'll just put that to one side, and we'll get our next largest pot for the next largest thing. We've only got one drainage hole in this one, so just the one pre-made screen to put in the bottom, and then we'll fill that with some soil. We'll have a quick look at this tree, see if we can't find a front for it. It's either this side or this side. I'm going to go with this side that's facing you now as the front, and we'll not worry too much about our level in the pot. We just want to get it in there and get it on its road to potential recovery, hopefully. Hey Pete. So we'll just get our chopstick and work that into the root system that's there. Try and make sure that we don't damage the smaller roots that were there that's going to feed this. It does seem to be disappearing into the cavities straight away, so that's good. We are building a nice little level for it to sit in, and it should sit there nice and happy without wanting to fall over. We will have to follow these quite carefully because you know, they're going to need proper attention, watering as required, and just looking after as best we can. A bit more soil. And we'll work this into the system. Just a little bit more, just to get a level for the potting grit to sit on. So we'll get our potting grit. So we've got a level of that in position. It's looking rather nice. And we'll give that a nice water through, and hopefully that will start being taken up by the roots that are there. And again, hoping that this starts on its road to recovery and continues its road journey to being a bonsai. And we'll just put that to one side. We'll take our next pot, again only one drainage hole, so just one screen to lay in the bottom, a layer of soil, and our next little tree, and I would say our front bit of a difficult one, but I'm going to go with just about there. So we'll just get those roots into the pot. I'll just try and position the trunk in the right way. Not much of a root system to work into. We just need to make sure that it sits in there nicely. I'm not going to attack this one with the chopstick. A little bit more soil. Give that a little water before we put the potting grit on, just so we're going straight onto the soil of this one. Bit of potting grit just to top it off and support the tree. It will go somewhere nice and safe, so it will not be knocked about, it won't be knocked over. None of the cats will be near it and knocking it, so should be safe. A little bit of grit just around that side. And that looks really nice. Shame about the tree. We'll just give it a little water over the top. And that's that one. So we'll just put that one to one side. And we'll bring in our last blue pot. Rectangular blue pot. It's got one drainage hole, so again, one screen. Get a layer of soil in. And if we get little tree that we're going to try and save. I don't think there's much hope for it. We'll just put that in and hope for the best. The front is towards you. There wasn't much of a choice. I just hope that something can be saved from it. It does look like the branch to my left, which will be your right, is dying back. So we'll just have to see how far it does die back and whether or not we can save any of it, or whether the whole thing just gives up. We don't know, but we've given it a chance. It's got every chance to pick up a bit of feed out of this watering that it's getting, and then we'll let it dry out and water it again, and dry out and water it again. And we'll just have to see how it goes. I'll just park that one there for a short period. And I do have a little baby pot here for the one with a few roots that are coming out the bottom. So that's going to sit in there. We'll get a layer of soil for it to sit on. Plenty of soil around it. You tell him, Pete. Get the potting grit in position, and that should hold our little tree up. So that should hold it nicely in position while we see where anything comes of it. Give it a little bit of a feed. Let that run through. Pete! Come on, heel. Good boy. Give it a little bit more. Okay, so we'll get tidied up, sort Pete out, and we'll be back in a minute. So here we are, back with everything cleared up, and hopefully Pete's sorted for now. He's trotting around. I've just put the one of the pots on the turntable so I can just give you a quick look at how it looks in the pot, and for what it is, it doesn't look too bad. We just know that it's got quite a bit of a road to recovery. So that's the smaller one. We'll just grab the first one that we did. So we can see there's quite a bit needed on this tree. It's still not looking in great shape. We may as well do a little bit of clean-up work while we're here. We've got this branch that comes off and then it dives off in an opposite direction at 45 degrees, so we'll just take that away. It was dying off at the end by the looks of it. It was still quite green, and it was green on the inside, so that's a good sign. Just look for any other dead parts that we can trim away or that are going to come off on their own, so we'll take those away. That's gone. That's gone. Still a bit of greenery to quite a few bits. Do have quite a few bits of the white still on the tree, despite giving it a good clean. It's still on there. We'll have to just keep cleaning it every day, just to keep it clean of what it is, what it's got on there. We may as well lose that leaf. I don't think there's too much more. There are some strange directions going on, but I don't want to take too much off. We need it to absorb as much energy back in from the branches as possible. So hopefully it will do that. So that's that one. And we'll take the next of the larger two. Give it a quick spin for you to see it. There's a dying branch that goes back in. We'll just take that off. The branch there that takes a weird angle, but it's filling in a space, so it's not too much of an issue at the moment. It does seem to be attempting to grow out of some of these branches, so it's got a little bit of a possibility of recovering. It's very slim, very slender. All we can do is fingers crossed and hope that he does recover. So we'll put that to one side. And we take our next one, and before we look at that, I shall just deal with Peter again. So this is quite green on the ends, so that's a bit of a promising thing. And there are some, the leaves are quite nice and green and lush, so fingers crossed that this one, you know, again continues. I'm repeating myself, but it is all a case of fingers crossed and hope that that they continue to grow. So that's that one. And then our last one, not a lot to look at on this one. V for victory, hopefully. We'll put that also in a nice spot and hope that anything comes out of it. If they do recover, there's obviously going to be a long road ahead growing these back to anything like they were originally, but we'll see how they go. We'll give them every opportunity to recover. So for now, that's it. I've been Scott Winard. This is Let's Do Bonsai, and we'll see you again on the next one.